This episode is presented to you by NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. With NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV, you can watch your favorite teams' out-of-market Sunday games, plus watch up to 4 games at once with Multiview. Don't miss the race to the playoffs. NFL Sunday Ticket is now just $39 when bundled with YouTube TV, where you get even more football. Visit youtube.com/Spotify offer to sign up now. Lowest price on YouTube TV with base plan. Rest of 2023 season. Terms and embargoes apply. No cancellations.
This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool that helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/pixelnba. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day. And that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This episode is brought to you by Columbia Sportswear. It's snowing again, and that wind chill is killer. But you're not worried about that because you shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection. It's warmth perfected with tiny gold dots that reflect your body heat inside and protect you from the cold outside. No snow or chilly temps can stop you now. Go out anyway. Shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection now at Columbia.com/infinity.
Sipping back an empty can. I don't give a damn if it's 9 a.m. My football team's got me drinking.
With us today, we have Sporting KC Minnesota legend Ike Opara.
You did not need to include Minnesota.
Yeah, you did not need to include them.
Oh, you agree, Ike?
Yeah,
okay, good.
The one defender of the year in Minnesota. I think that makes him a legend in Minnesota. And everywhere else, right?
I don't even remember my time there, so, to be honest.
Welcome to our pod, and tell us, you're now a coach.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Was it just because Benny was there, or were you looking to coach all the time?
Well, so the last 8 months I was with Nashville, doing some scouting and player recruitment with them, and was learning that side of the soccer world through that lens. And Benny called me asking me if I wanted to be his assistant, and I had kind of always thought I didn't know if coaching was going to be necessarily for me. Towards the end of my career, I enjoyed doing it with the young guys when I was in Minnesota and at times in Kansas City, but I just remember thinking okay, this is the perfect opportunity to see if this is something that I truly can love, and because I'm passionate about the game, but coaching it is a completely different realm, right? So I think it was like a perfect storm of Benny was the coach. Had it been someone else maybe I wasn't familiar with, I probably would have been on the fence and continued doing what I was doing with Nashville, but it just made sense to, I think I would have been kicking myself if I thought not to give this a chance. I think that I've accumulated quite a bit of wealth of knowledge to maybe not be able to pay that full. I felt like maybe I was selling myself short and to potentially help others from a lifestyle and playing perspective.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously have been a spectacular defender in this league, defender of the year twice, really good all the other years that you weren't hurt.
Yeah.
Don't want to bring up that part, sorry. But it's
anyway.
like a dream come true for a lot of Sporting fans that two of their favorite players, two people who can pass on knowledge. I mean, Benny's been one of the best midfielders in Sporting history. You've been one of the best defenders in Sporting history. And now you can pass that on to some of these young guys.
Yeah, I think if we look at it from like a holistic approach and the positive end, the benefits are high. And at the same time, being realistic, first year coaching for me, Benny's relatively inexperienced. So we're going to have some bumps in the road for sure. But I think if we're able to learn, grow through this process. We have a good mindsets. We've always kind of had that. I think that the future has, the fruition that can come for the future is big time. If we're able to do the things that, and to be successful at what we want to do. But again, easier said than done. We have all these ideas and thoughts and philosophies. Sometimes, it's just a concept. How can you make that concept a reality?
Yeah, two-part question that I've got. So as a player, you look at yourself, you criticize yourself, you think about what you're doing as a player. How hard were you on yourself as a player in that aspect?
Yeah, I think players they're the most critical, fans, whatever you want to call it. A player is more critical of themselves of any fan, of any teammate. Mm-hmm. Everyone strives for perfection in this game, even though perfection is really not attainable.
Sure.
Because you could have a great game and half a mistake, you're worried about half the mistake, and you could have even won the game. You're always looking to be perfect. In a game like this, it's so subjective that it's not really possible. Right. So, didn't mean that I wasn't chasing it the next day at practice or the next game. You were always chasing it, and so keeping that in mind, I think, is something that on this side of things, okay, no matter how hard we push, as long as the player wants it more than us, that's what we want to see.
Yeah, that is key. And how do you think you turn that from, okay, a player is criticizing himself, hardest on himself, how do you as a coach then use that? Yeah. I
think, obviously having a relationship with every player is important. The trust with every player is important. And you're gonna get that differently with different players, whether it be culture, whether it just be personality.
Right.
So it's up to us to figure out, okay, what kind of makes every player tick? What do they need to be successful? Whether they need to be pushed, whether they need to be, maybe embraced and shown grace. So, that's on us to figure out, okay, what exactly does every player need? And at the same time, it's on the players to figure out, okay, what do I think I need to be successful as well?
And you're going to be coaching players who are just on the cusp of, getting a pro contract with Sporting in the first team. So that's even a harder balance, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. I think everyone wants to be, especially, maybe not as much depending on where you're from, but when you're in an MLS academy, especially, the idea, right, is to be a pro.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And I know a lot of these kids have that expectation. So how do we make that become a reality? It won't be every single player, but how can we give them a taste of, okay, this is what it's like. And so if you can be successful here, great. If not, how can we give you the tools to be successful somewhere else?
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately what we're trying to accomplish too.
Nice. Is that already in your mind? Like, these are the things I want to pass on. Like, this is how you become a pro. This is how you act like a pro. You have to act like a pro before you can become a pro. At least in this club, I believe that's the way it has been.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the expectation. But truth is, a lot of these kids don't know what it's like to be a pro either. Right. I mean, even in a great club like this, it's still a concept to a lot of these kids. Like, oh, being a pro means taking care of your body. Well, what does taking care of your body really mean? Yeah, everyone knows take care of your body, but what does that mean for you? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's figure out a plan that helps you see it and experience it and feel like, oh, this means, I got to get treatment, or I got to do an ice bath, or cryotherapy, whatever it is, recovery boots. That's what you mean when you say take care of your body. Mm-hmm. Just little things like that.
I know Robert was talking about the guys who are on the cusp maybe of getting a first-team contract, but you will be coaching and managing guys who may be coming down from the first team to get minutes, or just recovering guys who maybe are young, came from someplace in Europe or Brazil that's their first contract as a pro, and academy kids they might be as young as 15 that are going to be out there and expected to perform, or you're seeing if they can perform, I guess.
You're really putting the pressure on him,
yeah.
Thad. He's thinking twice now.
See, Thad, you're thinking because now there's a lot to balance with the second team in the MLS Next, more so than probably a first. And so it's going to be a great test. It's going to be a great experience because we're not only just having to take into account certain things, we got to take into account everything. We're talking about young first teamers. We're talking about academy. We're talking about maybe potentially college players. Okay, different country. And now we're talking about bringing them all together with this idea of like, am I good enough for the first team while still focusing on the second team? So it's like so many things are in the balance, and it's going to be a great experience, I think, for Benny and I to go, okay, what worked, what didn't work.
So I'm going to turn that around on you. Not only are these young guys, these young players being tested, but it is you and Benny being tested. Yeah. I mean, Naga just went to Houston. Jimmy, has already coached in USL Championship level, and he went to Houston. this may be the big stepping stone for both you and Benny. So how do you? I mean, you're under this pressure here, but do you feel pressure on that side of it, or are you just focused?
Just focus. I think when I was with Nashville, and I spoke with so many people in different organizations and different roles, and ultimately the biggest thing is, just like a player, development isn't linear. And in our world now, there is no path to where it is that you want to go if you want to stay in soccer. Naga had a couple decent good years and then a couple down years, and he's now the Houston first team coach because they understood the situation. So it's like there is no right way, there's no certain path that gets you to where you want to go. I think who you are, what you stand for, if it's the coaching route especially, kind of your ideas in the game, where you're standing, I think that says a lot. But if it's a pivot to the front office, you've seen it with Mike Jacobs being in Nashville. He was even a college, it can go anywhere. So I think just being focused on this task at hand, and we'll see where the future lies, whatever that may be.
And how much of an appeal was it that you and Benny are going to have fun together?
Well,
how much was that a draw?
It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of learning. But I said, ultimately, look, if we can at least have fun with this, that's the minimum requirement. Yeah. I know we're going to have a lot of challenges, but a lot of days we maybe want to throw, bang our heads against the wall or whatever it may be. But I think ultimately, if we can treat this as a growth experience, I think the positives will outweigh the negatives for us from our end of things.
Here's how I see it working on the sideline. You and Benny are talking quietly during a match or something during training, and you're going to be saying, Benny, don't say that out loud. Just keep that between us.
He's got no filter.
Yeah.
And he's
That's
not
why we
quiet.
love him.
Yeah, and he's not quiet. I've got to be in the mood to really let someone to let go. He's going to be more of the vocal, and I'm going to be more of the trying to balance him out a little bit on the sideline.
Yeah, we have seen you be vocal a couple of times.
Yeah. No, it's in me, but I just got to make sure Benny doesn't get off the rails at times.
Earlier you said it makes sense, and I think that's just something everyone can just understand immediately. This decision of Ike and Benny together, and it did just seem to make sense to me. And one of our favorite stories that Thad always likes to tell, and we were just talking about this yesterday. The genesis of Benny becoming Benny for Sporting KC was a pass to Dom Dwyer against Houston in the 2013 MLS playoffs. And he did this pass in a way that you had told him was difficult to deal with as a defender.
I didn't know if you knew the story because I was going to interject and tell him why that pass.
Right,
exactly.
So
Benny credited you in the post game.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
I was talking to him like one-on-one, in the locker room, and he's like, credit that pass to Ike. He's the one that told me how to do it. He said defenders can't defend that pass.
It's one of the hard, in that zone 14, it's the hardest pass for a defender to defend.
Yeah.
That kind of ball.
And see, that's the stuff that I want to see you and Benny passing on to these guys. Yes. Now maybe you need another, a forward coach, because, obviously you got the defenders.
Yeah, but I'm going to be able to tell the defenders, hey, look, this is the hardest ball for you, so you have to keep this in the back of your mind. Probably, there's a good chance you still might not get it, but you have to be able to react if this ball happens in this area.
And it's even harder to defend handballs now. So.
Yeah. It's fun stuff.
Who's the attacking player that should join them? Who would complete this trio perfectly? Sal Zizzo? He's somewhere out there, right? How would Sal be as a coach?
No comment.
I think we're getting the signal we need to wrap up in a couple minutes because Ike needs to be out of here.
And
man about town.
We do have a small favor to ask of you later. Well, now.
Okay, yeah, you had to
not on air.
You had to do it while
not
we were
on air.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, Ike. A lot of fun.
Saturday and the game is on. 10 minutes in, it's 3-0. I'm sipping back on a empty can. I don't give a damn if it's 9 a.m. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. has just been sent off. Some point of strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.